Hi there, welcome, my name is Astrid. I'm a tarot reader, an artist. I'm doing tarot cards roughly since the age of 8, so quite some time. I'm also kind of fond of art, naturally, and magic and manifestations of various scans and alchemy. I decided, well, Lucius decided, and then we decided to split the talks we're going to have to 2 parts. This is the first part about sigil magic and manifestations. The next one will be actual practice invocation of tarot characters. I guess I'll start with quite easy question. How many of you are actually aware of the sigils, are using them, or just know what it is? Yeah, we're just dancing in the back. Okay, good. So, few. Some. How many of you are like using it on daily basis, or like not daily basis, but often? Okay, cool. So, for the you who don't know, I'll explain. Sigil basically means symbol. It's a symbol that represents event, a wish, intent. I guess all of us can have this understanding and know symbols from a daily life that kind of symbolize something. Let's say it can be your own signature. Your own signature is your own symbol, is your own sigil that you're basically using to sign paper, which represents your agreement with this paper or with the contract that's above it. So, but the sigils, in terms of symbols that represent something else, is very well known from basically cavemen was just painting them as some sort of like killing loads of animals and they're eating them, which was their wish, which was their intent, that was basically transformed in a quite easy graphical form. So that's basically kind of like this idea of sigils as a symbols of manifestation, symbols of wish, are kind of quite old. The person who kind of make it more famous or make it more occult or make it more practical was Osman Spare, was an occultist, British one. Like seems like all interesting magicians seems to be British. So he was the one in the 19th century during the Industrial Revolution who kind of dig this up and kind of like make some articles about it and create the methods I'm going to talk about, one method I'm going to talk about today. So we are going to create a symbol of desire, which basically is going to help us to manifest it. If you can think about some very powerful symbols, it can be just a company logos. Coca-Cola, that's actually quite a strong symbol, that's actually quite a sigil, and quite a powerful one. And even if you look at the Coca-Cola symbol, or if you look at other, let's say, company symbols, let's say Apple, it can even trigger your own physical reaction in your body. If you think about a Coca-Cola logo, you can maybe start to feel thirsty. You can start, it actually, the symbol is more than a sign on the paper. It triggers something within you. And actually the symbols have this power to trigger something within us. But not in terms of just Coca-Cola being equals, I'm thirsty and I want this super sweet stuff just being flowing down my throat. But it can work, the same principle can work much deeper. The key of this whole sigil principle is to have a strong intent. It's intent and imagination, which is the 2 basic stones of actual sigil magic or magic rituals or times that are basically connected with it. Why to use sigils? Why not use, let's say, other things like angels, demons, more complex rituals? I would say the sigils fastest and very result oriented. So it's actually very good for beginners. I think, at least my opinion is that if you want to start with magic, start with manifestations. Sigils are very quick and easy way how to start it, even if you don't have any other experience with magic and occult stuff. I would say with the sigils, it's a great way how you can approve your own abilities. When you don't believe that in yourself enough, let's say, for doing complete ritual, that would be, you know, all the cups and daggers and stuff like that. It might be a bit too much for you, it might be impractical. You don't feel comfortable in that position. If you don't feel comfortable in that position, it won't work. So the sigils, for that, for making sigil, making this manifestation, you basically need just a paper and pen. That's all you need for it. So the discomfort level, I would say, is much lower than for somebody who's not this is beginner with the Magick, then let's say with other Magick. Therefore, the fail rate, because you feel more comfortable with just a pen and paper, is getting lower, and the manifestation rate is getting higher. So I believe it's a great way how to start. If you want to then pursue something like more advanced rituals, possibly demons, invocations, evocations, stuff like that, I think this is a great way to start. So I said the strongest and the most important thing for making a sigil is the intent. You have to have a strong intent, strong will. You have to have absolutely no doubt that you deserve it. You have to have no doubt about you want it. You just want it, capital letters. So when you're making this symbol, that's going to fulfill your desires and bring you the stuff you want. First, you're setting up an intent. So now because I will actually, would you do the actual sigils? Now I want you to write down an intent, something you want on the other side of the paper. It can be in a capital letters. Should start with a positive statement, because we are not doubting the fact we are going to get what we are wanting. So the usual start or good start how to start is I want, or it's my will to. Always capital letters, and it's a good way to actually keep, whenever you're doing this sigil, whenever you're making it, keep the first sentence the same for every single one, because that kind of triggers within you the fact that you are now making sigil. Now you are in the beginning of a ritual, now it's starting. So I usually start it with it's my will to, and then I continue. Usually think about it and try to use the one that kind of triggers the most within you. For me, it was it's my will to. It's my will that's given. For you, it might be it's my wish to, or it could be I want to. Whatever is triggering the most power within you, then keep using that one. So I'm going to write down, it is my will.
There's no limit to how many you can do.
To win lottery. It's not very inventional. It's quite obvious. The good way how to start with sigils, if you're making your first one, is start with something you kind of want, but you don't feel like your life depends on it. The important thing about this when you're starting is that with any type of a magic, sigils included, there's a very important psychological factor of threat. Threat of getting it, threat of not getting it. If you are new with magic, if you will feel the threat that this is so important, let's say you're homeless, or you want to get a flat. If you do your first sigil, let's say I want to get a new flat, then the threat factor is extremely high because your life kind of depends on it. And because one of the last steps, which I will get into, is to forget the wish, so the universe can start delivering. This will be extremely hard. So the threat factor is trying to be very hard, therefore the sigil is less likely to be effective or not work at all. So start with something that you kind of want, but it's not that important. But you still have to really want it. So the threat factor with you not getting it is quite low. You have to be in a state of positive expectations. So think about something that can cause you positive expectations. It might be just, I wish I want a sample of an ice cream on the street. Everybody wants that. And let's say the threat level is quite low, because not many people's life are actually depending on the fact that they won't get a sample of the ice cream on the street. So this is a good way to start. And then when you start to be used to those sigils and kind of see it actually works, then you're building up and you're building stuff that's bigger, more important. Sigils and magic, that's basically a skill like any other skills. You have to practice it. And you start small and you are building it up. You're not going and building a house straight away. First you start building something small and then you kind of build yourself up. With the sigils...
Hi, sorry I'm late. Okay.
Hi. Yeah, that's fine. With the sigils, the good thing about this learning process, which is no different from any other learning process, is the fact that it's quite quick. And results can be delivered quite quickly even in the actual intent, you can state the time frame. I want to win lottery within 1 week. But again, if you do that, have a look at your reaction. Do you actually believe you can win a lottery in 1 week? You have to have your inner, at least, belief in what you wrote just a little bit as possible. Because if you're going on the street and I would like to get a sample of an ice cream on the street within 1 week, you kind of know it's possible. There are loads of people sampling stuff on the street. I'm going around Soho and Camden all the time. They're giving stuff all the time. Why I should not get an ice cream sample? The threat level is low. You're calm about it, and you feel it's possible you do deserve that. Once you make this first sigil, and you will indeed receive the sample of an ice cream on the street, like, hey, it works. And then you try something bigger. And after some time, you can try the lottery. But at the point when you actually know the sigils works for some time for you, and you know that can actually happen. So when you're thinking about the time frame, always put that the one that you, when you're thinking about it, don't feel like this kind of like stress around your solar plexus area, because that means the effect will be possibly less strong. You have to believe in what you're writing. The intent is what will make it happen, so the intent might be absolutely clear with absolutely any doubts. So once your intent is clear and you wrote it down, it's a good way to also, you can even state it in the actual intent or just thinking about it, the way how it should be delivered. So if you, let's say, think my intent is, yeah, I think I would like to take 500 pounds, which is cool, but you can also, and that's actually making it even more effective if you'll be more specific. So let's say, I would like to get 500 pounds through my new freelance job as tennis instructor. That's an intent plus the way how it should be delivered. And you can, again, you're instructor, you kind of know it can happen, you're doing it for some time, you don't feel threat, you stated that you want to happen within 2 weeks. Why not? It's possible, I have the skill, so again, you have very specific way, and the stress level for you is very low, because you can know it can happen.
Should we be giving a time frame to it?
Up to you. Up to you. It doesn't have to be, it can be. Occasionally, you have a, let's say when you really need the money soon, then it's good to put there some sort of like a time frame. But again, in your own mind, it has to be doable. If you like say, I want £1,000 within 3 days, then even you yourself be looking at it and thinking, no, that's not going to happen.
Should you write numbers or spell numbers?
Spell numbers. That's what experiment. Maybe the actual numbers will work better for you. I use spell numbers. But again, with the sigils, there's no wrong way or right way. There's just the way that works, and there's that way it doesn't. So I usually use spell numbers. So okay, so we have the intent. That's basically it. The next step is out of the letters, we create a symbol. We start with actually crossing out the letters that repeat itself and all the vowels. Basically, this is a word method, how to do it. Some people do it slightly differently. Again, experiment. What you basically have to be left at the end is just incomprehensible chain of letters. So I have it's my will, so I'm crossing I away, the letter I, Y, I have double L, so I just keep one L. T, I already have T here, so I'm crossing it out. It's small. W, I already have W here, so I'm crossing another one. Will, I is vowel, crossing out. Double L, I already have L here, so I'm crossing it out. So I'll show you. Sorry?
I think that's an N.
Basically, I have the lottery, but I'll just show you how it's going to look like roughly. L, T, E, R, which is R in lottery. So I've been left with T, S, M, W, R, and L, just R, a few letters. And that's what you should be left with. Again, there are different ways how to do sigil, how to fire it. Some of them might be creating a mantra out of them and then keep singing it. One of them is picture method. which is quite a bit more difficult. Then it's the alphabet of desire, which is completely ridiculously difficult. So this one is the letter method or the word method. If you're starting it, would be a good one to start to and see how it works for you. And if you with time feel like the mantras will work better for you, or the picture method, or the alphabet of desire. Now quite a few online resources, but this method is basically, I would say, the fastest, really, and the most efficient. So, okay, so I have a chain of letters, and now out of the letters, you will create a symbol. Might not look good for the first attempt, or second, not that one. The idea is, you look at it, and that's basically why I made this ball. If it looks magical, it is magical. Make some sort of like a symbol. The artistic qualities are irrelevant, but from my own experience, the more intention, time and love you put in it, the better it works. Because the stronger your intent is. Just the fact that you actually spend some time on it and you make it really pretty and you spend like, that's basically just enhancement of the intent that gets stronger. So I'm doing it while standing, which is, I guess, my artistic abilities are not bad. I'm sitting, not what you were saying about standing. So I have TSMWRL. So I have T. I put it in the middle. It doesn't matter which one you put in the middle. So I'm crossing it out. I have L. I already have L here, so I'm crossing it out. I have R. I'm making R here, crossing it out. I have W. I'm going to make on a random space, let's say like here. Well, it looks terrible, but you get the picture, literally. I have M. I can put M.
Do you remove the vowels?
Here.
No vowels.
No vowels.
No vowels.
No vowels, no.
No repetitive letters and no vowels. And
Do you follow your intuition or you just draw?
just draw, really.
Just draw whatever?
Whatever. It's just like, after a certain time, I kind of have like way how I'm putting things together. So, but it's basically almost automatic drawing.
I've got loads of letters.
You can do whatever. Every person got a different sigil style. I usually you can, even if you have it like that, then you can redraw it, make it simple,
Wait, so if it's a string of letters, do you then jumble up the letters or you keep it in the order and then
No,
do it around it?
there doesn't have to be. I have a string of letters,
Yeah.
and then doesn't have to be in order. I just randomly put it
You
together.
just jumble them up and just,
Just how I like. I think I like the T, and I like when it's got like this estrel around. Yeah.
But from the first list, you cross out the repeating.
You just from the first list you cross out the vowels and the ones that you got there more than once.
And then this list, you do that again or no?
No, once you are left with a stream of letters, you will have one out of each letter.
Okay.
That's there. Just one M, just one T, just one F. And once you have what? It's not the first time I'm doing
Can
it.
you
Right?
draw letters over letters? So, for example, if I've got something that looks like a V,
Yeah.
and I draw another V over it.
No, you don't have to. It's just once. If it's there, that's okay. But if you feel like putting it twice, that's fine.
Okay.
If it feels right, it's right. If it looks magical, it is magical.
I'm not sure if I look magical, but yeah.
Then you can rewrite it, you can simplify it.
I like
So,
the floor with it.
Let's say what I'd like to do, my personal
I like the
preference.
floor.
I just put it like that. You can put it in a circle, you can put it in triangle to make it more, I guess, magical looking. I like to add triangles and like a small little, like a circles like this. And small little triangles like that. But this one's a quick one and I'm standing. So, you can add some sprinkles on the top if you like it to make it look like magical symbols. Circles are good ones. You kind of have to be happy with it yourself and has to listen to, when you're looking at your sigil, important, listen to your gut. Feels right, it is right. Doesn't feel right, scratch it, start again.
I love this.
Today is very popular to talk about manifestations, but mostly they will tell you about imagine yourself being abundant and you will be abundant. And that's pretty vague, to be honest. Like positive visualization, affirmation, that's again pretty vague. This is quite old, but what I said, this is a very quick result-oriented solution and result-oriented method about the same thing. So it's a bit like New Age getting practical, if you will. So you have the stream of letters, you have some sort of like a symbol of really varying artistic qualities. I can immediately tell who has some experience with sigils and magical symbols, or like, but basically, if it feels right, it is right. Okay, so you end up with some sort of like a sigil, symbol. Can be done, you can do it when in meditative state at home. Frankly, I'm doing it occasionally on the bus. So when I have free time, I'll do some sigils. Then, after you have one, now there are a bit different approaches, and with the next step, once you have the sigil, you kind of have to experiment. Some people prefer to make a few of them, and just, let's say, keep it in a special sigil tin box, till the point when you look at the symbol and you don't know what it means. You basically keep it in a piece of paper about this size. So you kind of forgot the intent that was behind it. For me, from my experience, my own, it didn't really make much of a difference if I actually knew what the sigil meant or not. For some people it works better if they kind of leave it somewhere a week for some time with, like, say, 5-6 others. So after some time they don't know what it is. I think if you're starting with it and you've never done it before, I think it might be better and easier, or basically reducing the risk of it not working, if you actually leave it for some time and just kind of forgot what it is. Because at the moment when you're charging it and firing it, which I will going to talk about later, again, the risk factor that you'll be looking at it and thinking how stressed you would be if this wouldn't happen gets lower, because you can't remember what it symbolized. You just see some sort of like triangles and circles. So, but it depends really. For me, it didn't really matter. For me, the result was the same. For some people, they prefer one way or another. So I would say definitely experiment with that. So, okay. So you have some sort of like a symbol on a piece of paper that's showing some sort of your intention, your wish, something you want to manifest, very practical one. And now you want to send it to the universe. Now you want to tell the universe what you want. Now you want to actually like sending it out. So this can be done a few different ways. First, when you have the symbol, the first thing is you are when you charging it and firing it, and that means sending it to the universe, you are concentrating purely, or not purely, but mainly, on the symbol. Don't think about the intent behind it. Completely forgot about it. Just think about the symbol and let the symbol completely fill your mind, just everything. Just for a few seconds or minute or two, concentrate just on the symbol. That's all you can breathe, see, anything. This sigil can be charged, any sigil can be charged in different ways. Let's say it could be trance, can be meditation. This idea is you're basically recharging the actual energy. One of the most popular and my strongest recommendation for beginners is sex or masturbation.
No pressure then.
No. Well, there are other ways how to do it, but there are other ways. I'm using something else. But I'd say if you let's say starting, I think unless you can get yourself in a trance state when your head is completely clear. There are other ways, but I think for the beginners, the masturbation and orgasm is like the safest and the easiest one.
I think I know where you're coming from, because it's the same when you do spells, etc. The problem with that, as you mentioned earlier, was the fact that people's mind wanders.
Yes.
And it's very difficult. I can't meditate for England, I just
Yeah.
can't.
Mhm.
So, because my mind wanders, so it's very difficult to clear. And then if you do that, then you know that in those whatever minute,
Mm.
you're not thinking about
Yes, exactly.
work or whatever. So I can see where
Yeah.
you're coming from.
You can use music as well to get into
Yeah,
a trance.
whatever works.
Yeah, yeah.
But some people it's very difficult
Exactly.
to focus. So.
Yeah, so I would say for somebody, also the other ways how to basically fire it is some sort of like a moment of like this like basically moment, which can be orgasm, which can be fear, can be shock. The fear, the sigils can be fired in a bungee jumping moment, or if you're watching a scary movie and somebody jumped at you in the moment and you're just like, that moment you fire a sigil. So this is the moment, it can be just a split of a second, when just your conscious mind is basically switched off by orgasm, fear, shock, anything like that. But I guess in that sense, again, that's for beginners, I would say the masturbation is, I would say, a bit more available than, or just more practical than just watching a movie and somebody is waiting somewhere to jump at you so you can point with the sigil, which I guess might be good fun, but yeah, it's a bit more, not that practical. Or bungee jumping, just you're not going to bungee jump just because you want an ice cream sample on the street. So, but I guess once you get more comfortable with it and stuff like the trance, I use the trance, and it's called the death posture, but I'll go in that some point later on. But first you charge it. Let's say when you are afraid, when you're watching the scary movies, then it's this hype. You need to get the hype feeling. That's basically what will charge the intent. In terms of masturbation, I think it's kind of self-explanatory what's charging. And then, once this is charging...
Sorry, do you look at sigil then while you masturbate?
You're looking at it.
Okay.
You're basically, you have it on a paper, masturbating, and you just literally, you're literally like holding it in front of your face and you're staring at the image.
What if it doesn't arouse you?
Do you want the ice cream? Do you want the ice cream sample or you don't want ice cream sample?
I mean, like, looking at sigil.
If that sigil puts you off, it's the wrong one.
Exactly.
Make a new one.
Yes, I know what you. I've actually got. I read about a forum on the internet was exactly about the same topic, and basically I think it was Graham Morrison who actually commented on that. Think about it this way. Basically, the orgasm and the masturbation, it's not that much about you being pleased, but it's some sort of like a sacrifice, some sort of like an exchange that you're giving out to the universe and the orgasm for exchange for the ice cream sample, if you will, or something like that. So basically, this masturbation is not like, porn type of masturbation, but it's like more like ritual masturbation when you are exchanging the orgasm for what you want. So basically, you are actually indeed no porn while firing sigil masturbation. I actually should state that down on the paper. So you got the paper and you get it directly in your face, like that, all the time, staring at it. Again, don't concentrate on actually what is the intent. Just keep your head clear as much as you can. Keep your mind clear as much as you can, just staring at the symbol. The symbol kind of have to immerse you. That has to be all that's basically in your mind. Now, your mind, upon the symbol of its geometricity, not the intent, has to be quite clear. That will make it the strongest. And then, once keep charging, keep charging, keep charging, and once you reach the fear state, shock state, or orgasm, or trance state of like emptiness, then at that point you can either imagine, you can envision the fire, the sigil basically being sent out into the universe. In that moment basically, they call it intense gnosis. You basically, in that moment, your conscious mind is clear, it's kind of like hyped up, and you kind of create a smaller rapture in the universe through which like the whole, you basically fire the sigil and send it over. So this is like the peak when it's fired and sent. After you've done that, you can even put in the orgasm, imagine it like flying somewhere up to the universe, or you can just imagine like the symbol just completely immersing everything around you. Try different methods and see what works for you. Then, when you're finished and done with that, you destroy it. So you have the paste of with the sigil, and the next step that I would say is maybe the most difficult one and needs the most self-discipline, is to forget about it. Which in that case, when you actually have a tin box of the different sigils and you can't remember which one is which one is ice cream sample, which one is lottery, then this will make this bit quite easier for you. Because you don't know what you're supposed to forget because you forgot it already.
Do you know when you said, like, say for example, you start a new business and you want to get £500, so you know that you start a new business, you could do it, but why do you always remember that you want to make £500?
Well, let's say, it depends. Let's say you start a new business and when you want £500, then in the sigil intent, it works better when you specify how the universe should deliver. From my own experience, if there is a possibility to not give universe much more space of how to deliver things, do so. Otherwise it will deliver things that it's not really practical experience. So let's say...
be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for. And if you wish for something, make very clear how you want it. The more specific, the more risk factor you're going to get yourself and fuck up. Which with sigils possibly won't happen. Sigils are not this type of magic that much. But let's say if you will be working with the demons or other entities, then you need to be extremely specific, like pinpoint specific what you want. But even with the sigils, it's a good way to start. So I want 500, but again, if you actually specify how you want it to be delivered, it even for yourself will make it more believable. Because if you are making, I want £500, then you kind of look at it yourself like, it's not going to work, how am I supposed to get it? But if you will, I want new client that will pay me £500 within 2 weeks. You're starting a business. That sounds specific, that sounds believable. It's like when you're looking at the newspaper articles and one says something that's completely vague. It's like, yeah, the British government spent 1 billion on that. Yeah, but British government spent 1,135 pounds by blah 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 blah. It sounds like the person done the research. So it's more believable, you're more specific, it's more believable. You yourself believe it more, therefore the intent is stronger, therefore more likely it's going to be manifested the way you want it.
But how can you forget your own desire?
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking that, especially if it's about...
But I didn't say it's going to be easy, right? Well, again, that's why I recommended to make a few of them and then just put it in a tin and don't look at them for a week or sometime.
What if you're not specific? Sorry to interrupt you. What if you're not specific? What if you say like, I want what's best for me right now?
For that particular
That
intent.
could manifest anything, I suppose.
Then you could get it and you could hate it.
Sorry?
I said then you could get it and you could hate it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What happens? What happens
you
if you're
could,
not? But it would be
In
more
that
interesting.
sense, what you just said, I would say, for this particular wish, the sigils are not the best tool.
Okay.
For that particular intent, if you want, try to work with some sort of beings of light. Those are good for that. But again, those, because with the beings of light, you can try to be specific. They will listen to you. They will do what they want, and so you can be happily awake because they will listen to you anyway.
I just wondered. It sounds like you have to be more specific. But
No. For the sigils, like all magic, it's like a toolbox really. You have different tools for different stuff. For what you describe, I want to manifest what's best for me. I would like to, let's say, get rid of my fear. I would like to bring more light into my life. Work with some sort of like beings of light, or I don't know. And it's I would say if it's something like that. If you want something a bit more strong, then work with demons. But if you want something like pay rise, ice cream sample, if you want to find a new flat, if you want to get something done, if you want to sell that, if you want to sell that, if you want a new client, more like the mundane, everyday stuff, get 4 sigils. Want some dark knowledge, ask demons. So basically it's a bit more like a toolbox, and the sigils, I would say, it's like practical stuff, really, if you want to get things done. I want a better ticket, I want a better price for tickets. I want
Want a better flat?
I want a better flat. I want a better flat. I want to get a better deal on that. I want pay rise, but I don't want it to be my idea. I want my boss come and beg me for pay rise. So, so I want a better job offer. So this type of stuff, I would say sigils are the best. Of course, sigils can be taken on another level. And they can, you don't have to destroy it necessarily, you can use them as a talisman. Actually for me, we managed to use, I made a sigil that says, you want to have tarot reading done immediately. And I made a symbol, and then we had a tarot reading stall, I just got the symbol on the table. And I was actually seeing like people were passing it, looking at the symbol, staring for it for a few seconds. And then they either get their reading done, or they're just like, how much is it? And then they left, but they were interested. Some people might call it black magic, I call it low-cost marketing. So in that sense, it can be taken, it can be used as a logo. You're making new business, you can make a sigil. You want to use my service immediately.
How about putting things out?
Of course, naturally. You can sort of like, you can make it for like, whatever. For keeping things out, I would slightly use possibly more like some sort of like banishing rituals or some sort of like protective spells and stuff like that. But this, I'm quite sure it can work as well, really. If you want to, I don't want annoying clients that are requesting. I don't know.
I might do a sigil for tomorrow.
Yeah. And so it can work either way. So while you're forgetting about it, basically the good thing, what helps, is after you finish with the ritual, is to banish the sigil. That can be done by, let's say, again, works differently for different people. My personal preference, I like to burn them. Some people like to, let's say, tear them to the pieces and, as Grant Morrison once said, flush them in the toilet. That's actually, it's acceptable way how to do it. Grant Morrison is doing it, he's talking about it, apparently it works. So it can be, let's say, water, it can be fire, it can be wherever you wish, wherever it feels right. When you're working with this type of any type of a magic, again, what feels right is right, what doesn't feel right is not right. So if you're looking at the sigil and it feels like burning it, then burn it. If it feels like flushing it down the toilet, flush it down the toilet. So this also is the moment when you are basically kind of like suggesting and telling the universe that now I set my intent, and by destroying it, I'm leaving it up to you. So this will also help you to kind of like forget about it because you destroyed it. It's no longer here. The sigil physically does not exist, but the only way it exists is this rupture in the universe that has been sent, and now it's naturally in the background working. With the state, when you are basically waiting, try to keep yourself in a state of positive expectation. When you're not feeling like you're depending on it, but you're just positively and with some gratitude possibly, naturally expecting things to happen. You have no doubts about it, it will happen. What I've noticed, but again it depends, that let's say at least from the beginning, when I was really trying, I've noticed if the things was not delivered completely the way I wanted, which might be possibly because, let's say, my intent was not strong, I did not believe in it too enough, my intent was not strong, I could not maybe get the whole thing, but I could see clearly how the universe is almost stretching out to get me to that point as close as it can. So it's like if you want the ice cream sample, you won't get the ice cream sample, but you can almost, like you can see a person with the ice cream sample just going inside the shop. So this is basically how it works. From the beginning, you might not get it, but you will see how the universe is stretching as much as it can to get it.
Why is the universe interested in giving you an ice cream sample? How does it work?
That would be for another talk, but I can quickly explain. Technically speaking, there is no much of a difference between you and universe. Technically speaking, your body is just a piece of meat that's possessed by a piece of universe. That's basically your soul that have a consciousness and unconsciousness. So you as a human being are undividable part of it. Same as trees, squirrels, whatever. But we have a consciousness that's a bit better, like better consciousness than, let's say, squirrel. If the squirrel can make a sigil for nuts, apparently it will happen to her. But the problem is we have a better consciousness, more developed. So there is no difference between the all and us because we are part of it. So if we want something, because we are two separate things but same thing at the same time. So if you want something, the universe wants it. If you don't want something, the universe doesn't. So it's not on the level of your consciousness. It's not even on the level on your subconscious or unconscious. It's a completely on the soul level. So if you have a strong intent, you manage to basically, that's why you have the trance, that's why you're charging. In the moment you're charging, you have intent, and in that moment the intent kind of transcends almost to the soul level, to the very deep levels. So in that moment it reaches it. So it's not universe like somebody up there and me up there. It's one thing. And in the process of sigil, you are connecting those things. So basically the universe can't, and you can't tell the difference on the soul level if one universe isn't on you. So that's not like universe would be like, Santa Claus giving out. It's you who is doing it. But this would be like 2 hours and explanation. So yeah, you have your sigil, you have your positive expectations, things are going to be delivered, and that's basically the end of my talk, because at that point you're just waiting around the street and waiting for your ice cream sample to be delivered. Good luck. Yes, questions?
Because I want to play a devil's advocate here, and I already know about, manifestation in a sense, and the most difficult thing is focus, as you were rightly pointing out, because I have the same exact questions and issues when we usually do our tarot spells thing, where people go, but it didn't happen, but I really put the cards out, but I did the candles, and I did the intent, and I did this, and it didn't happen. And focus is the matter. So, what if you were to combine sigils with something else? For example, not necessarily tarot, could be tarot, but another practice that you do. Or is it best to actually keep it practical and keep the sigils to themselves?
With the focus, the first thing you need to link the sigils with is really self-discipline and will. You have to have a strong will, and you have to kind of like train it, which is basically the basics of all types of magic, will and the magical will. So I would say the first thing you need, before you start to concentrate on other stuff like combining with tarot and other things, make sure that you are able to keep your focus on one thing and train it. Focus can be trained.
I was having visions while you were talking about taking tarot cards and drawing sigils on them.
Yeah, you can do that. Like we used the sigil, that basically the text of the sigil, the intent was come and get a tarot reading done, and we use it as to attract people to have a calling it tarot reading done. It can have a lot of different, it can be...
I don't know, just something that came into my mind as you were talking, because you don't necessarily need to do the tarot like by drawing in pen, you can do it in invisible ink or something, you know. it
Yeah,
doesn't-
You can do, yeah, you
yeah.
can do it absolutely the way you want it. We had one of the sigil that was about you want our reading now, that we basically secretly incorporated in our Sphinx Tarot banners that we were hanging behind us, which was quite funny because people are passing it, people notice, people they like on subconscious level, but you can see like they just go and look at it and just pass, but you see something is going on, something is happening. Especially one of the events we went to, I think there were occasionally few magicians going around, and they basically pass the banner, look at the banner, look at us very badly, and then just so yeah.
Well, do you remember me saying, Henry does maybe, when Jennifer ordered the tarot ceremonial magic, and it came in an envelope with a sigil on it. Because I didn't know what it was at the time, this was a few years
From
ago.
my Etsy
What's
store
that?
again.
Yeah,
For being stolen, it was a sigil. I found what it was eventually by Google, scanning it and Googling it. It was a sigil from a particular, it was one of the Goetian one, I believe.
oh, yeah.
For that, to get safe where it was meant to get to. It was quite
Yeah.
interesting.
You can make,
Yeah.
you can make a sigil. You don't have to fire it. You can just make a talisman out of it. You can use it further in rituals, but again, that's a bit more.
Sorry, another question, then I'll shut
Yeah.
up.
No.
What happens if you keep it?
But
For example, if you paint it. Because I really like
some
this-
people do that. So I know some people do that. That some people prefer not to destroy it, but let's say to keep it, let's say in a kitchen somewhere, a place when you see it daily, so it kind of loses its
Colours energy. Okay.
energy. Because so some people like to do it because if you're seeing it every day, then you forgot about the intent. So basically, it's the same effect because you just stop really paying attention to it. But some people like to fire it repeatedly, which I've never done. But test it out. For me, it didn't make much of a difference.
Okay.
Some people say it's good, you can do it, and if you can have one sigil, fire it more. I'm not sure about it. From my point of view, it's a bit like, not trusting the universe to deliver it for the first time. It's like not trusting yourself, that basically you have to fire it like a million times to basically get it delivered. So, yeah, exactly. It's like doing the same spell again and again and again for the same thing. It's like, somebody asking to throw still the same questions. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, can other people charge it for you? Like, could you take the sigil, go behind someone and go boom?
I've never tried that, but I guess so. I think the only thing is that basically you have to create the sigil yourself.
Yeah.
So not really the sigils in most cases. Well, now we are talking about your intent sigils. We're not talking about demon sigils or entity sigils. So when you have this intent wish sigil, then you should create it yourself. So it has your intent. You are just by creating it, you are actually making, you're giving out some effort to make it strong. So therefore you should make it yourself. Again, then an entity sigil of somebody you're calling or want something from. And then once you make it yourself, you just have to fire it yourself. But if you want somebody to do in front of you with a sigil, that might work as well. You can have like assistance of other people in it, because let's say if you're charging it and firing for bungee jumping, you naturally want somebody to put the stuff on and basically push you off the bridge. So you don't necessarily have to be all alone for the whole process. But you have to make it. You have to have the strong intent, and you are the one who's firing it. But you can have some, I guess, help with other people. Yeah.
About the strong intent.
Yeah.
You formulate the intent. Is that what you call the sentence? That has the goal or whatever in it.
Yeah, that's the. If I'm talking about intent, I mean the sentence.
Okay.
That's basically like the sentence is the manifestation of the intent.
Okay, so you form this intention, and then you geometrically abstract from that. There's no
Yes.
longer any intent there.
That's the thing. It is still there
Where is it?
because you made it. You made it.
Mhm.
You had the intent, and you transformed the intent into a symbol form. The intent is not going anywhere. It's still it. The symbol is still it. It's made out of it, and that's what it is. If it wouldn't be the intent there, the symbol would never exist in that particular way.
But I'm a strong believer you can see patterns in most things. So why can't
Yeah,
you just
that's-
imprint a sigil onto anything you encounter when you have a strong intent, and then just step back from it?
Technically speaking, you can do it, but you can do basically anything really. But I think with this thing is that there's like a small little subtle silver lining, and it's the fact that you created it. You put effort in created it, in manifesting it already when you actually made it.
It's the point of ritual, I think.
It's like, of course, it's same. Yeah, that's a good.
But
The same with the ritual. Let's say, you can say, why I have to make that ritual on my own, when I can just tell the trees how they are shaping. That's the ritual, and I'm firing through it. It's your own effort. The more, if you put the effort, just even in creating it, in making it, in transforming it, you are actually in the actual process as an active particle, and you have to be active particle in that process, because basically you are the one who's making it happen through connecting with the universe and all. But your active principle, your active intent is important, otherwise the intent is not strong when it's not active. And this actual making it and transformation, you are actually already starting as a creator of the intent. You are starting as a creator and manifester of it, just by making the symbol and firing it. So it has to be you. Your intent has to be your effort. It has to be your strong will.
You made an analogy earlier about the people saying, you know, a lot of what's going around now is think happy, you'll be alright, you know, if you have this, if you have that, just think positive, everything will be fine. Well, you know, this is about more working for it to be fine, focusing and putting work into it. Am I right? Or, you know?
Yeah.
Can I try to put it another way? It's a bit like HTML coding, if you ever have designed a website.
Yes.
Where when you find a sigil or create a sigil, it's a bit like going into the editing part or the kind of behind the scenes part of the website, and you put something new in there, and that when you save it, makes changes, something new happens on the website. It's a bit
That's a good analogy.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
That's how it works, but you don't have to do it in one particular way. It's just certain ways that are commonly known to work, and then there are ways that you can invent for yourself that might work better for you because everyone's different.
I think whatever way, it has to be something that appeals to you and really makes you feel, you know, convinced and convicted. So whatever adds to your, you know, your feeling and raise the vibration. That's
It just
what
seems
you
like the
do.
conviction seems to be almost the smallest part of this process.
Well, it's how you feel. I mean, whether it's conviction for you or it's a, you know, heightened sense of feeling, that depends from individual to individual.
No,
Whatever
the
makes you
conviction,
feel, yeah.
the conviction is actually, it's quite important. You have to believe in what you wrote. You have to believe that it's possible to happen. And the threat levels have to be quite low.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's like, of course you can get some, let's say when you're working with the demons or other entities, you have a pre-done sigils of that particular entity. But still, if you want to, you are still have to be active particle, because even at that sense, you usually start with imagining the entity, knowing the entity. If you have just a symbol, you also have to usually know what is the type of entity you are dealing. So with the sigils, it's not just some sort of like a particular entity or demon. It's your own wish. It's you wish. It's not like some sort of like external. It's not something that everybody wants. It's you want to get that ice cream sample. You want to get it within 1 week. So in that sense, because it's your own intent, you are creating your own symbol to manifest something that's manifesting for you. It's basically, as you just said, you're basically making a code that you're wrapping in the universe. The code that would not exist if you wouldn't have that intent, that wouldn't exist if you wouldn't make it. It's like, yeah, the code was a good one. It's like, it looks like, when you have it as an intent, it's like how the code will appear, but the symbol is the actual code that you're creating out of it.
Okay.
Anything else before we tire her out completely? I think we need to do more of this and actually possibly delve into the how you incorporate it. It's a huge subject anyway.
Yeah. It's about 12 hours
yeah,
and
if
hours. I think people seem to be about time when I'm talking.
Yeah.
So you said you use them often. How often? So once a week. For your own experience, what do you use them for?
Lately, it's true. Like lately, I was using slightly different things than sigils. But from the beginning, and I really wanted something to be delivered. Let's say you can use it, let's say, for selling your art prints. Frankly, it's usual to make a sigil to make your art, let's say, sell online, then actually rely on art galleries that might get 50% of this commission. So I used to use it like once in 2 weeks, and I really wanted something. Generally speaking, it was like usually like practical stuff, like more money, even more money, or getting more clients. Like, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right, you're all welcome to mingle and discuss the subject or any other subject if you wish. So thank you very much for coming.